stop trying to be perfect. Look, being perfect is literally impossible. Like, sure, like you can play a game, you can get a, I don't know, maybe you do archery. Maybe the perfect score is like 10, 10, 10, like you hit the middle of the circle with your bow. Maybe that's the perfect score. But outside of games, when it comes to real life, like, there is no perfect thing. Okay? You can't define it. Because essentially what you're saying is that there is something where there is nothing wrong with it. Now let me ask you this. If there is something, let's say within yourself, that has absolutely nothing wrong with it, how on earth can you grow? Can you grow? Like, the answer to that is essentially that you can't. Like, there is no way to go. Like, you physically can't grow. So, if there is no problem, there is no solution. So, perfect also means that you can't get better. You can't improve something. So, let's say you sit down, you're at school, whatever. You're gonna write an essay. You're gonna do a job application. Perfect would mean that it literally can't be any better, which means when you're gonna write a new one tomorrow, you can't make it better because you already hit the ceiling. There is no progression. So let's say you didn't get a job with a job application you sent out yesterday. Well, you ain't gonna get one now either. Or at least you can't affect your chances at all because you're maxed out. And so perfection doesn't exist. Okay, like, people have this weird fucking idea, like, yeah, that chick's perfect. Like, calling an object perfect is one thing, calling a human being perfect, it's because there's some hot chick or whatever the fuck. Like, that's just retarded. Because that shit doesn't exist. Okay? Not anymore as well. Where does this idea of, like, let's say you're gonna do a YouTube video, and like, people will have this idea, like, okay, you wanna sit down to record, and you're scared that people will judge you, and you'll have this, like, even if you do a presentation in school, whatever. But like, where does the idea come from? Like, why would you need to do something perfectly if perfect doesn't exist? Well, part of it is school, right? A part of it is, I'm just gonna be honest here, like, it's a kind of a problem. Like, when you look at the school system, you have all these tests, and so it's like, let's say you do history. It becomes this thing where it's like, there is a top score to it, right? Like, there is maybe not as much like with an essay if you're actually just writing something, but like, if you have multiple choice questions, if that's the kind of test you're doing, there is a maximum amount of points you can get. And so like, that whole idea is kind of flawed, like, when you think about it, because it's like, if you're wrong on one of those, you might lose self-esteem, or you might not give a fuck, but at the end of the day, like, it's just telling you that, hey, listen, man, you could have done better. But it's not doing it in a way where it's productive, where you're actually learning stuff. It's not doing it in a way where, feel free to fail as long as you learn. It's doing it in a way where, if you fail, it has completely absurd consequences. Now, like, is failing a test and getting bad grades, like, is that high consequences? Not necessarily, but again, Depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get in somewhere to study, of course those tests have consequences. But like when you look at the real world, not the one by Andrew Tate, but the actual real world. When you look at the real world, like we're doing YouTube videos, we're doing photography, we're doing art. The way it works is you do something and you do it shitty, and you look at what you've done and you improve on it. Now, doing something where it's shitty, where it's bad, like that's not a bad thing. Okay? That's the way it works. Like, because even you as a human being, what you are is you're this goal striving mechanism, okay? You're trying to get from point A to point B. Now the way you do it and the way you kind of stay aligned on the course is you try thing A, okay, doesn't work, okay, but let's try thing B. Okay, doesn't work, you adjust. It's like you're supposed to make mistakes. You're literally supposed to make them. Because that's how you learn. The way you learn to not touch the stove, like sure someone can tell you whatever, is that gonna stick in your mind? Like, probably not. So what do? You're fucking 3 years old, bam. You slam your hand on the stove, or you burn yourself. Let me ask you this. Is put your hand on the stove a good thing? Well, not necessarily. But then again, you probably won't do it again, so it doesn't really matter. So it's like, making mistakes is a part of life. You're supposed to make mistakes. Like even making a YouTube video, it's not like, it's just not that deep. It's not that serious. Like nothing really is. Like of course in war, if you make mistakes, shit matters. But like as for everyday life, if you try to be perfect, you'll just stay stuck in the same spot forever. Okay? Like you gotta, like you have to fuck around and find out. You can't just sit on the fence. Like that's one of the videos I did. And so you can't be afraid to take risks. Okay? So then, but where do you start? Like let's say you're gonna write an essay. Sounds like I'm doing some academic shit. Like when I talk in this way. Fucking writing essays. Anyways. Like, let's say you're just gonna write. Like, where do you start? Well, the way you start writing is you just do something. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you do. So, because the thing is, when you just start writing, the chances that it's actually gonna be as shit as you think it's gonna be are really damn low. If anything, it's gonna be better than what you actually thought it would be. But again, here's the thing. You live in the 21st century, so when you start writing, even if it's crap, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's not coherent, you're making progress. You're getting shit done. And now once you've written that one thing, that one piece of work, you just try to grade it again. You make a draft, then you make another draft. Heck, you might want to go up to 3 drafts, finalize it. Like, we had this one project back in the day. It's like 3 years ago, maybe 4, I don't know. Anyways, it was a project in school, a film, which I did about like the Finnish Winter War. Anyways, when I'm editing that film, it's not like I did one perfect export of the film and that was that. No. I did probably like 7 exports. Also, it's like you don't need to get shit right the first time. You just need to get into the fire where you can learn, where you can develop as a human being. And then you go again, and you go again, and you go again. And each iteration that you make, each export that you make, each time you rewrite that essay, it gets a tad bit better. And that's how you grow, and that's how you win. And that's how you end up where you want to go. But you certainly don't end up where you want to go with trying to be perfect. Now, of course, like if you look at routines and stuff, it's a bit of a pivot. But like when you look at routines, and if you have an idea that you're gonna want the perfect morning routine, or otherwise you're not gonna do it. Like people will. That's another thing. Like people have these ideas that like, well, if it's not perfect, I don't want to do it. Even if I don't have the perfect business idea, I'm not gonna do it. No, motherfucker, you do the business idea, and then you figure out how you can make it better. It's not the fucking other way around. Okay? You don't do the book with the ending. Start from the beginning. Like, you don't read books backwards. As you don't do that with life either. But you need to pick something, and you need to try it for a while. Okay, it's like, there is a reason why I did. Well, I've done door-to-door sales, and I also done cold calling. Like, you think I just did 1 week of cold calling in 1 week of door-to-door sales? Nah, it's for me. Like, like people are so ADHD, or like need instant gratification so much that they literally can't sit there for like a month and figure out, okay, is this actually something I want to do? Is this actually the type of life I want? Because like, think about it. You're not gonna... Because the thing is, you're not gonna have anything perfect ever, first of all. Second of all, in order to get something to a high level, you'll need to do it for a while. So like, you're not gonna have a perfect business plan. Like, you might not even be close to a perfect business plan after a month. But you sure as shit ain't gonna have even a decent one before you start reiterating it. Also, that's what, like, you need to keep going into the fire, try shit out, and then figure out, okay, I've done this for a month. Like, I've done door-to-door for a month. Because I was okay with sucking at something. I didn't need to be perfect at it. So I was just like, whatever. Let's look at door-to-door sales. Okay, I'll give that a shot. I'll do it for a month. Now, once you've done something like door-to-door sales for a month, well, then you can take a step back and look at it and go, do I want to continue with this? Is this something that actually is something like that I want to do for the rest of my life? Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life, but like, do I like the routine? Do I like myself? Do I like the image I have of myself now that I've done this for a month? Okay, but you never get to that point if you try to be perfect on the first day. It's like you get into this new job, you're doing door-to-door sales, you're knocking on doors all day. If you wouldn't need to be the perfect salesman to start that job, to start knocking on doors, you'll never knock. And this is especially true, like when you think about door-to-door sales. If you've ever done it, you know what it feels like to knock on that first door. The first door you knock on, your entire life. And it's not like it's really damn nerve-wracking, like, for being straight up. And so, it's nerve-wracking. And on top of that, you've done 0 knocks, so you're actually shit at it. You don't know what you're gonna say. You'll probably stumble on your words. You might look awkward. You might stutter. Your voice might tremble, whatever. You might not even speak loud enough. Who knows? But what we do know is that you ain't gonna be perfect on the first try. So you just have to do something. Also, you need to get your head out of your ass. I really just accept the fact that some things are gonna suck. But if you keep hammering at them, the tide will essentially and eventually turn. I mean, it's the same way with making content. It's the same way with photography. Like when I was doing photography, there's this concept. Pat K talks about, okay, chances are you motherfuckers don't know who that is. Anyways, there's this idea of taking 100 photos per day. Now, let's say you're gonna take 100 photos per day. That's what you do. You're a photographer. You take like 3K photos per month. Intentional ones. But like, do you think you go outside and you try to get the perfect photo? If you do 100? Well, of course not. Because that'd be insane. No. You go like, okay, I got 100 photos. I don't know what I'm gonna get, but I'll get something. And you just start hammering away at them. Now, I don't remember exactly what the statistics were for the amount of photos that actually were good. I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of, for every 100 photos, about 2.5 were ones that I'd actually want to use for like social media, posting on Instagram, putting in my portfolio. So that's 2.5%. Meaning that 97.5% of it was crap. But that's fine. Like like this is a thing with being creative and wanting to do something. Like, is it the 80-20? Like 20% of the shit's gonna be good, 80% of the shit's gonna be bad. And that's just the way it is. Like when you start sales, like you're not gonna get sales all the time. You're just not, like most of it is gonna be shit. But then there are the few instances where you actually get a sale. And now you're hyped and now you're getting a roll on. But you'll never get a roll on if you can't bear being shit. If you can't drop the whole idea of being a perfectionist, you won't get anywhere. Like, you have to learn to be okay with making changes throughout time. So you need to stop thinking about having one shot at something. And you want to take that thing and you want to reframe it to where it's, okay, this is my first attempt. Okay, my second attempt. Okay, we go again. And each single time that you do that, you get better. This is like David Goggins talks about it. Like, there is no failure. It's just attempts. Okay? So you don't need to be perfect. You just need to get better with each try. Heck, sometimes you might get worse, but that's fine. You keep hammering. And eventually, you'll be way better off. So at the end of the day, done will always beat perfect. And the last thing that I'll say for this video is this. People have this question of like quality over quantity. Which, sure, quality is important. But then there's what Tate said, which is, well, like, why the fuck wouldn't you just do both? And that's kind of the way it is. It's like, they had this study at some point where, I don't remember, I'm completely paraphrasing this, was something about making pots or something. And they had a group of students do like one perfect pot, and then they had another group do like multiple, maybe 5, 10, whatever. Multiple pots that were shit were kind of just scrapped together. But guess what happened? The students who did more attempts made more perfect pots than the motherfuckers who try to make a perfect pot on a first shot. Okay. So quantity leads to quality. So if you want quality, it's not quality over quantity, no. It's quantity leads to quality. Like the way you get good in the gym isn't by having a perfect workout your first day. No, it's by going a lot to the gym and actually focusing on what you're doing. So doing the quality and quantity. Okay, and then eventually you'll have really damn good quality. But if you try to be perfect, you ain't gonna get anywhere. So you have to be fine with being shit at something when you start. And if you weren't shit, you wouldn't be able to grow and you wouldn't be able to get better at it. So if anything, you gotta view it as a chance to become a better version of yourself. And eventually, with time, with repetitions, you'll be the fucking man. I'll see you in the next one.